What happened to evolutions? Clash Royale's last Evo was added 3 or 4 months ago in November, which was the Evo Royal Hogs. And honestly, the Evo Royal Hogs are the perfect example of why modern Clash Royale was successful. Now, what I mean by this is simple. Evos as a whole are nice because they allow Supercell to, fulfill their corporate greed by getting money. We get money, we get happy. You sell Evos in the past Royale, right? Now it's a hero. But the Royal Hogs Evo, we'll get back to the monetization in a second. They give what was a dead win condition, being used in pretty much 2 decks, Queen Hog Cycle and Royal Recruits, both of which were pretty dead at the time of the Royal Hogs being added, and gave the deck a new life, because you're going to have a card that has a chance at letting you outplay things you normally wouldn't play. Royal Hogs are something that's extremely easy to counter with most of the mid-ladder menace stuff, and now that you have flying piggies that deal impact damage that probably needs a nerf, you have the ability to beat decks that you normally wouldn't be able to beat, and that is such a good thing for the game. The flying Royal Hogs give you the ability to get past Mega Knights, get past tower defenses, get that damage that you probably wouldn't be able to break through against a lot of decks in the game, and almost every Evo just gives you that extra oomph. You don't have it too often. It's not always cluttering the game. You maybe get 3 to 4 of each Evo down a game, depending on how fast your deck is and how long the game lasts. And that allows you to have these chances, whether the Evo's no skill or not. It can be balanced. And obviously it's going to be strong at its release because Supercell wants to sell as many as they can. And you know what? I would rather they just release them balanced. I'd fine if it's good and balanced and not broken like the Evo Furnace. I don't know where they draw the line there because I can't see behind the scenes, but I assume it has to be good enough to make money. Whether that's by making it a popular card or making it a fun idea or giving it, I don't know how all that works behind the scenes, but they did a wonderful job with so many Evos in the game, and they almost always get balanced within 2 to 3 months. The reason I don't hate Evos being locked in the past Royale is because if you wanted to, you can save up your wild shards, assuming you get nothing from any lucky drops or any rewards they give you in game. Assuming you just save your free past Royale wild shards, you could get the past Royale Evo for free every 3 months. So you could just skip paying $12 or $13 or however much it is in your local currency and just get the Evo immediately. There is a direct way, albeit it does take a little bit longer because there needs to be some drawbacks so people actually pay for it. There is actually some way to get Evos. Even the brand new Evos, you can hoard. And although that's not feasible for a lot of players, and there's so many different options of Evos in the game too for you to pick from. Let's say you like a certain card. We'll get into how I feel about them like making something and then giving up on it immediately or just a year down the road. But there's so many different variety of heroes or Evos in the game. You can literally pick whatever you want, and they're constantly giving you through events like this old Evos that you can use to stockpile your collection, so you don't always have to use your wild shards on the old Evos. You can use them on the new Evos, and besides, you could probably pull a lucky drop or two that give you something to do with Evos while you are, in the 3-month process of getting new hero shard or Evo shards. My God. Here's the problem, I think, with heroes. One, there's like 4 problems with them, right? Heroes, okay, let's just be objective. Heroes as a card, heroes as a concept are just stupid. The reason Evos are fine for the game is because you have an opportunity every once in a while to be able to get a ton of value. Now, the Evos have been extremely buffed in the past and broken, but we're at the point now where for the majority of the time, Evos are something, with a couple exceptions, that are mostly balanced. And although some are pretty strong, outside of a few select ones like the Witch, the Furnace, the Ghost, oh my God, they have been relatively balanced. I want to touch upon this one more time. The biggest difference between Evos and Heroes is that Evos are cycles. I think people are underestimating how important the cycles are. One, the cycle makes it so that the Evo is, allowed to be pretty strong because you can only get it a certain amount of times per match. And so you're going to be able, it's a high risk, high reward kind of thing where you can waste your Evo. And if you waste your Evo, you're at a direct disadvantage. And with heroes, that's kind of the biggest problem with heroes. Besides the fact that they look horrible, the 3D models suck, they're boring, people would rather have champions, many other problems. They're locked behind a paywall. You can't get the one you want out of the random hero box that doesn't exist anymore. That's now a pouch of hero thingamabobbers. You also, by the time you, if you do open up one of the hero thingamabobbers, you can't get the new ones. You can only get the old ones, and the old ones got nerfed because the old ones were game breaking, because they're game breaking because that's the only way you can get people to buy them, because people don't like them. But if you actually need to play them to win the game competitively, like if I have to put hero goblins in my lava hound deck to be able to have win success because every single other person has hero goblins, then that's just kind of a thing that I have to do to play the game. So I'm going to buy them against my will, unfortunately, because me buying them and boycotting Clash Royale would do nothing. You can't organize that. And the top 10% of spenders are going to spend no matter what and have spent no matter what. The people that you would want to boycott are people who have literally already quit the game because of their Supercell's greed. Back to the original point, every single time you play heroes, you get to use the ability. So it's not that I have to use the ability every single time. It's that the threat of me using the ability is a thing every single time. I have to play my deck differently because the goblins can respawn every time that they are played. If they were like Evos, I would only have to worry about them respawning every 3 times, which is way more manageable. Doesn't make my entire play style revolve around whether or not goblins are going to spawn on my tower. And you can kind of just directly see, it's not even hidden, that they release them broken on purpose. And if they're not broken, they buff them. Spirit Empress, which isn't a like highly used card because it's a 6 elixir ranged unit. It's very, very strong and it's very, very good. And it got buffed 4 times because people weren't using it enough until they realized you can't buff it enough to make it used. It's just an unpopular card. But back to the topic, there are over 80 cards that could still use Evos. I think it's either 80 or it's like, yeah, there's 39 Evos and there's 121 cards. I think it's over 80. And really, realistically, right, you could give an Evo to, even if you don't want to give an Evo to every card in the game, you could still do, I could think up another 40 Evos. Like, there's so many cards that could use an Evo that aren't good, that could fit in so many different decks, that people look forward to Evos because it's an exciting little twist on a Clash Royale card that may or may not fit in my deck. Maybe my deck's going to get another Evo. It's an excitement level that maybe I can get this hero or this Evo, because I can save up my free shards and I can get a free hero or Evo, my God. And it's like something you can actually look forward to, something that's balanced, something that doesn't overwhelm a new player. Once you understand what the concept of Evos are, you kind of adapt to it. And the first, it takes maybe 2 or 3 times to see an Evo to figure out what they do. And so now you're adapted. You understand what happens. You don't have to constantly be thinking, oh my God, he's going to hit an ability. Let's say originally Clash Royale's skill ceiling was like here. This is the top players and these are the lowest players, right? And there's just a complete skill difference. Yeah, something like champions. You're going to be able to put a champion in your deck. The skill floor gets raised up. So now, you know, it's with a champion in your deck. You're not going to be able to, I love champions, by the way. You're not going to be able to or you're going to be able to beat players maybe more easier given you have a really nice card. With Evos, you have the, I don't know if I want to keep using this demonstration. You have the ability to beat players better than yourself by outplaying them with an Evo. And, you know, when the Evo is first released, this means usually you win because it's broken. But over time, it becomes you're able to beat matchups you normally wouldn't be able to beat because of Evos. And I think that that is a good thing for the game. You offer outplayability, you offer more deck versatility, and these Evos allow you to play more funkier decks or allow you to play different combinations of cards you normally wouldn't be able to play because you give yourself the opportunity to win games that you normally couldn't. And it's a high risk, high reward situation because you have to use them well, and you only get 2 or 3 Evos a game. With heroes, you just spam the ability every single time you play them. You pay $15, you just get better. You just get better. You don't need to think. The Evos, at least some of them, require a little bit of thinking. Not heroes. You just play them. You just spend the money and you play them and you instantly start winning games, because every single time you play the Goblin's hero or any other hero, you have the option to use the ability. Your card is just straight up stronger than your opponent's cards. Not to mention the reason Clash Royale is always going to be a game that exists and is played is because the core gameplay is enjoyable, has been enjoyable since the very start of the game. And even with Evos, the core of the gameplay remained the same. Evos spiced it up, added a little flavor, but with heroes, you're just shifting the entire dynamic away. With up to four, you don't have to run 4, but up to 4 ability changing things in your deck. 2 heroes, or 1 hero, 1 champion, 2 champions, and 2 Evos. There's way too much clutter going on. Clash Royale does this thing where let's use star points as an example. Star points have a skin available for like 20% of the cards in the game. We haven't had one since 2020, and they just abandoned them. Nobody knows why. Nobody answers us when we ask why. Masteries. We had masteries for what, maybe 50% of the cards in the game. They nerfed mastery rewards because they don't want to give things to people for free. And now they're just going to stop adding Evos. And I mean, I think there's other examples too. Magic items with books and stuff. They just remove them. You just add something and just remove it. Clan Wars, you just remove it. Now we have shitty Clan Wars too that nobody wants. Nobody plays. Literally nobody plays it. What else? Elite wild cards. You add them, you just remove them. Like they have like no long-term vision at all. It's like I don't know. I don't really understand why. But literally, Clash Royale could just stop adding heroes. Like, just for one last time, just abandon heroes. Let's just have 8 heroes in the game. Let's just, because I understand you can't revert it, right? It's too late to revert it. You should have never done them in the first place, but just legitimately just stop adding heroes. See, here's what I don't understand. They can't be idiots, right? Like, they saw the success that Evos were having, and I don't know if that was just because the game was super popular. I would think that because the game was making so much money, Evos were selling well, right? Just continue to do them. They're not selling well now, which is, I mean, heroes aren't selling well now, which I think is also kind of a problem of lack of player base, right? There's less people playing. Obviously, the game's gonna make less money. I don't know if I can tie that directly to Evos, but I'd assume correlation is probably fine to do here. Evos are making, you had a lot of Evos making a lot of money at the same time. I'd assume one affects the other. But yeah, if I was Supercell, just legitimately stop adding heroes. Just stop. Accept the losses. Nobody likes them. Level 16, we can work with. You add more ways to get rewards, make it a little bit of a grind. Part of my problem with level 16 was there's no reason to upgrade to level 16 other than to just get a stat boost. Like, if there was a new mechanic tied to level 16 or something that unlocks when you get level 16, like if you unlocked Evos when you hit level 15, not that I'd want that to be a thing, but that'd be a reason for me to get level 15, right? Because that would unlock something. There's nothing. It's just greed. It's just the greed updates edition with heroes and Evos. Or not Evos, heroes and level 16. So if I'm Clash Royale, I know that sounds kind of a stupid decision. Just stop adding heroes. Just stop right here. Let this be the last hero we get and go back to making Evos. And when thinking about things to add to Clash Royale, think about the strengths of Evos, why people liked Evos, because you could get them for free or you could pay for them. There's an option to get them for free. It's not nearly as fast as paying for them, but still there's that option. There's the outplay ability. You don't get an Evo every single time. You get an Evo 2 to 3 times per game. There's enough to make it rewarding, like I'm actually able to use my Evo, but not enough to make it overwhelming and to ruin the game's experience, but also enough to be able to outplay people that you normally wouldn't be able to beat with your Evo, which is a perfect level of reasonability for a gameplay mechanic. I'm not going to tell them what they have to go add now, but heroes are absolutely not it. The farther you stray away from the core gameplay of Clash Royale, the worse it gets, and the more people that will quit the game and just not enjoy the game anymore. That's just how it is. If you have any thoughts on, my opinion on Evos and what happened to Evos, I think they need to come back, and I'm pretty sure they will come back when they add more heroes. But I think that they need to stop adding heroes immediately. And those are the biggest issues with Clash Royale that I think could help stir interest back in the game. A couple of good updates, good free-to-play progression we could talk about later. Free-to-play progression doesn't matter if nobody wants to play the game because it's unenjoyable. That's just how it is. We need to fix what makes the game unenjoyable, and I think the biggest issue right now is heroes. They added heroes, the game died. What can I say? Coincidence? Let me know what you think.